What's a general fine arts class to do in the 3 weeks between Thanksgiving break and winter break? Here's what I like to do. A few years ago, when we were all still masked up and distanced at school, when we couldn't have audiences in the theater, we planned to throw together a virtual Christmas program highlighting our fine arts students. Unfortunately, we planned on filming during the last week of school, but, of course, the school had to shut down that week due to rising COVID cases. All I had was some rehearsal footage, which I put together and posted as kind of a rough draft proof of concept. We framed the show as an old-fashioned radio program based on Prairie Home Companion.
Tell them about it, Chillin'.
Whatever they're calling the Dairy Mart now, home of whatever the current occupant's specialty is. Home cooking. It's possible.
And it was something that I hoped we would turn into an annual tradition, and despite some setbacks last year, I'm not giving up on the dream. Step 1. I write the framework script. While students write much of the show,
We have a script.
I write the dialogue for the hosts so that we have a consistent style. The kids key off that style when writing their bits. So as I plan the script, I think about which students or groups of students to highlight, and I try to aim at expanding our pool of performers. I base it on 3 things. First, who deserves it? There are certain kids who work incredibly hard for you, always going above and beyond, and I want to reward that effort. The second thing to consider, though, is who needs it. That means a couple things. One, because we're filming it rather than performing live, this is a fairly stress-free performance opportunity, and it can give less experienced kids a place where they can shine. 2, for every all-state performer in your program, you've got 10 kids who have the talent, but for whatever reason haven't had the opportunities or they don't feel comfortable performing live. So I look for kids who, once they're featured, will surprise people with their talent and hopefully start to build some confidence. Finally, I want the show to be legitimately entertaining and not just cute. I don't like things that are cute. Cute is cute. Okay, you could describe some of what we do as cute. Step 2. I post clips of Prairie Home Companion, old radio shows, and our past productions in Google Classroom so the kids have references. I don't want them to copy the content, that's my job, but I do want them to match the style. Step 3. I break down the segments and assign groups and roles. I pick the hosts and performers. Everyone else is some combination of writer, director, cinematographer, set decorator, light holder, audio engineer, etc. The groups pitch ideas, write, and produce segments that the hosts throw to, live from the North Pole or advertisements, things like that. Our ads, by the way, aren't real.
And brought to you by Boho Funky Flamingo Nutrition. Tell them about it, Kai.
We pick real local businesses and feature them, but they don't pay us. I don't need that kind of pressure. Step 4. Everyone goes to work. This is where the real danger lies, because at this point, I'm trusting the kids to do the work without my direct supervision. The reason that's true is because we're all working on different things. Some kids are learning music, some kids are writing copy, there's a lot going on, so we have to spread out. I check in, obviously, and there are days I'll dedicate to working with the musicians or whatever, but overall, everyone's working on their own, and I love that. The most fun I have as an arts teacher is when it feels like we're all moving in the same direction, but we're each doing our own thing. This is where understanding the concept of flow comes in handy. My job is to encourage the flow state to emerge and then to stay out of its way. Check out Stephen Kotler for more information on flow triggers. Step 5. Film everything. I use multiple cameras. These are about 10 years old and they've been great workhorses for us, but they are getting old and cranky. You know, like me. If you have access to multiple cameras, this lets you cut back and forth in ways that can be more forgiving for the performers. It also feels more professional, but it takes less planning. If you're going single cam, you really need to storyboard these things so you make sure all your footage works. You also have to do several takes. With multiple cameras on tripods, if a kid does something like, say, a weird look for one angle, you can cut to the angle that doesn't show that expression. I'll often use my phone for moving shots and B-roll footage. For this project, I don't worry too much about settings. The camcorders are all set the same, but the phone is set to, however Apple sets it up. So there will be some color differences. If they're super noticeable, I'll do a little color correction, but honestly, I don't spend too much time worrying about that for this particular project. Step 6, edit it together and post. Because of the rush time frame I do this, as we film or as kids airdrop me their segments, I'll plug them in and make sure everything looks and sounds okay, then I edit over break. The goal is to put it out around Christmas. So is it a perfect show? Oh no, not even close. But what I love about it is that it lets me feature kids who haven't necessarily been involved in our competitive theater or speech and debate programs. I mean, don't get me wrong, those kids are on the video, but really in more a supportive role than in a leading role. It's also a fun way to spend those last 3 weeks before break. If you've enjoyed this video or find it helpful, please do hit the thumbs up button and feel free to share and subscribe. The link to this year's finished project is in the description below. Happy holidays.